Morning everyone, Tony here again. It's the 29th of January 2025. I haven't shared for a couple of days. I've done or did what I normally do, and that's retreat. It's like I'll let some of myself out there and then I've got to draw it all back in because I feel like I've exposed myself so much, when in reality it really is quite trivial what I have shared if I compare that small dot to the multitude, being my life, of what I've been through. I don't just want to base my sharing on what I've been through, although I can't share anyone else's story because that's their story to share. Plus it's just downright rude. What happens for me, I was listening to someone sharing just before, video-wise, tape-wise, and they were talking about, obviously, themselves and gaining the ability to step out of what one would deem their comfort zone. And honestly, that can take a lot of courage. It truly, for me, I'm shit scared of moving out of my comfort zone. It doesn't feel nice to be in my comfort zone, but it's scarier to be out of my comfort zone. If that makes any sense. Not a nice feeling being within, scarier to be without. Which way do you go? For myself, I'm choosing to move forward. Therefore, I'm choosing, I don't think I could call it head on, but I'm choosing to share and work my way through whatever that thing may be. Just before, a gentleman was talking about changing one's story to change oneself, and that made a lot of sense. I mean, he wasn't talking about lying. He wasn't talking about changing it to disrupt what his actual story is. For myself, what I gained from that particular speech was self-growth, knowing that one has that fear there, but choosing to do it anyway, choosing to move forward, choosing to see whatever that fear was about, to see it for what it is. It really is staggering how much and how far fear can and cannot take us. Now, it's like willingness. I can be willing to go to the shop, but I can sit on my bum for the rest of my life and watch the TV and still be willing to go to the shop. I've got to get off my bum and move forward. I've got to make a movement of some sort to get to the supermarket. Makes sense to me. I'm not going to change my story. I've always believed that to be able to get to a point to be able to share without that deep impact, without that emotional slide within myself, it's kind of like the parameter. That's what's going to tell me whether I'm growing or not. I could never even open my mouth to let people know what was going on. When I shared in my last share, where I was doing lots of crying, lots of realisation, it made me realise, and I didn't even verbalise about it, so much can roll through my mind, and I need to be a little bit, I suppose, subjective to what I'm actually going to put across. Lost my train of thought, and that's part and parcel of it too. I need to grow, I want to move forward, and learning to share without being stuck in that emotion is growth within itself. I'm pretty sure that's what I was going to share. I'm very good at forgetting things really quickly. I think they call it frontal lobe damage of short-term memory. That's okay at the moment. I can live with that at the moment. I just hope it doesn't progress into anything nasty. Changing me, changing my life is a start. When I first started going to the 12-step fellowships, I had no idea at all how to change me, how to get moving within the spiritual realm to grow, to not allow my mind to go back there all the time, because that's where it was. My head was back there. Every time I stood up to share something of my past, it just had to come up. And I was speaking with my sponsor one time about it, and she made a very strong suggestion just to let whatever needs to come up, just let it come up. It's part and parcel of it. It really is amazing how things can change and how an individual can change just to get up and share that spiritual connection. I love it when I can sit and listen to someone share and I lose my place in time. It's not that I forget where I am or anything like that, but I'm so mesmerised by the story, by what this person has gained growth-wise. That's what I really like. I really like to be able to not even notice that the clock's on, not even notice that, to not notice that stuff, to not notice the physical world at that given point in time, and to realise that, I've shared for so long, so therefore I should stop. Sharing time's a big thing too, with other people as well, sharing time. Although this being my podcast, so I don't know why I even struggle with saying my podcast. It's like I'm really tentative of owning it, and I know that's fear. I really, really struggle in the realm of fear of doing this. I have pondered and pondered for several years to get up and share something like this. I'm wanting to find an example within myself as to how fearful I became in life itself, just to kind of show how much I've grown, and I can't find anything at the moment. There's plenty revolving around up here, but to be able to verbalise it to you, to whoever is out there that wants to listen, all these moments are made up of fear. The core base is fear, and the best way to move through that is to share. Some people may not believe that. That's okay. I when someone first said to me about going to a barbecue without drinking or smoking dope, it was like, are you serious? How the hell do you do a barbecue or, without having something in one's system? And ultimately I needed to have something, well, I thought I needed to have something in that area to have the courage to even get in the car to go there. A couple of days back when I shared about being so fearful of getting out my front door, I have fear today. So I thought, well, I'll sit down and I'll just not make it too long, but I'll do a brief shower and I'll get going and try and be on time. Try and be on time for once. But I was very, very grateful to hear the last 2 to 3 minutes of this other person sharing that what they were fearing when they first started sharing is exactly how I feel now. Now, this person that I'm talking about, I don't think it's correct that I go into names. He's a very, very well-known person in this sort of field, in spiritual growth. Personally, I just find nearly every word that comes out this person's mouth, there's such a strong element of grace, of calm. I think if I was to sit here and just flat out, yes, that could be a start of something. Yes, I'm putting in the efforts to move forward. But I also like the calmness, and learning to stay balanced in that calmness. That's somewhat a challenge. It is for me anyway, it's somewhat a challenge. They also speak about changing one's story to change one's life. And I know I briefly mentioned that when I started my opening today. And it's quite natural that I will see my story in a much more balanced perspective. I mean, what balance can one find in dysfunctional domestic violence? There really isn't. If I can take the sting out of what happened to me when I was younger, then I'm growing. If I can forgive without forgetting the other person or not forgetting what happened to me, I'm growing. If I can share it without still wanting to run this person over in my car. And I'm not laughing because I wish to make it comical, because there is nothing funny about DV, domestic violence, nor sexual abuse. There is absolutely nothing funny about it, full stop. I feel in a sense that I have come a long way, a long, long way. When I first got sober, I was volunteering in a rehab, and I didn't mind the volunteering in a rehab. It helped me to grow so much, and it was about giving back as well. And there's 3 people that stand out, and they have stood out in my recovery all the way through. Unfortunately, these 3 people, it always seems to be the number 3, doesn't it? Jokes is always a number 3. But anyway, these 3 specific people, they all had what I call white-collar jobs. They struggled profusely finding that sense of self with themselves. And I can recall having not so much arguments, but really interesting conversations with these people, trying to, I don't know, give them feedback on what I'm viewing about them or what they are verbalizing to me. So in a sense that they're kind of looking at a mirror, for the want of a better word. I'm in no place to judge anyone else on their own personal growth, because I don't know where their story is going to take them. And I don't know where their story has come from. As much as they can share what they need to share, acceptance and not telling someone you have to this, you have to pray 3 times a day standing on your head, that kind of stuff. It doesn't sit nicely with me. But not just that, that's their journey, and I am nobody really to give people feedback of you must. Trying to stay true to myself, learning to, not just trying, but learning to get by my fears. Now, I could have stayed with that fear and not picked up my phone, not wanted to put in a little bit more effort, as in sharing, for how all my previous shares have made me feel. Because if I'm getting something out here, somehow within there's going to be a void until I learn to fill that void with healthy stuff, not with drinking and drugs and whatever it may be, but filling that void with healthy stuff. And it's kind of like that merry-go-round, for the want of a better word. I don't know how deep this is going to go, but I can only share, and I don't know how it will be accepted, but self-harm. I have self-harmed nearly all my life, and that's kind of a bit embarrassing to say, but it's part of my story. Please don't think I'm a nutter because I'm going to share this. It really is quite scary to find out the amount of people that do self-harm. I'm not prepared to share how I do so. Maybe that will come one day, and yes, that comes down to my fear. How did my self-harm come about? I've really changed avenues here, or tangents. It is what it is, I suppose. But I can remember it was either year 2 or year 3, and I was sitting outside the classroom, and I'm not sure if the piece that I had in my hand was a protractor or the thing that half moon, which is what I call it, that has the degrees written on it. But the part that I had in my hand, there was a sharp bit in it, about, I don't know, an inch long. It had 2 arms. At the top of the 2 arms, there was a twisting bit that would tighten or loosen, where you put the sharp point in, and then you're able to turn. You use your degrees to go to how many degrees you need to. At the end of the other leg or arm, there was also a twisting part that you would put your pencil in, and then you would tighten that up. So then you had I just wish I could remember the proper name for it. It may come today, it may not. However, I was trying to pick a hole in the wood, just sort of, scratching deeply in the wood. And somehow I've slipped and the whole thing has gone into my thigh. Now, I didn't scream, I didn't squeal, I didn't make a big thing of it. I just pulled it out really quickly. And there was something in that hurt that didn't make all that head jargon go away, but that was the point where I started self-harming. It's nothing to be proud of. Yes, I see my scars. Yes, my boys are very much aware that I'm not doing well if I'm at that point. I don't always share everything with my boys. It's not appropriate. Even though my boys are all grown up now, they're adults. But I always make sure I share with my support team. The secrets are what will make me sick or sicker. If I'm not talking about it, I'm not doing too good. But if I can talk about it and at least let someone know that this is what I'm doing, it takes the sting away from it. It may not be the be-all, end-all of my self-harm, but it's a starting place. It's a starting place. No, it's not nice. And when I'm feeling really revolting within myself, I have often shared that I feel like I'm just a case with the scars on the outside. I'm scarred inside, yes, but I'm scarred outside as well. And one represents the other, and vice versa. Now, that might sound really crazy to some people, and that's okay if it does. Yet there might be other people that will sort of have that light bulb moment, as I've had many of them within my sharing, as I've realised that I'm going blank within my sharing and I'm struggling to find the words, so I'm on the right path, as crazy as it sounds. It is so hard to move forward. It really is, and it is so bloody hard to be honest. And being honest is sharing my story so that I take away the sting in my story. I can take away the sting in my story. I feel like there was something else there that I wanted to share. Maybe it'll come to me later on today. I don't know. Hopefully it will. That I can feel that whirring within my stomach and that whirring raciness in my mind. I don't know what else to share about there. I think I might just sort of leave it there. As I said earlier on, I wasn't going to continue to share, but I did, and I have. That tells me that I've still got the willingness inside that I want to continue to grow. And yes, sharing, even though I'm feeling this particular way, it's the only way I'm going to get through. There is just so much dialogue and so much shit, and there's good stuff in there too. Yeah. Everybody's journal is a very, very personal one, and there are bumps where I never thought bumps were, and there's a lot of pain in certain experiences where I didn't think it would be painful. Yeah. I truly pray that you all have a great day, that you too can do something nice for yourself, that you too can do something for yourself to grow, so that you don't stay stuck either. Yep. I will probably talk again tomorrow. Hopefully it may not be fear-based. It just might be something a bit more level within myself for what I'm feeling. Yeah. You take care.